What is up, my triggers? Eccentrik here. I return! It's been more than a month since my last video and the internet was starting to develop blue balls without me. But have no fear, I will do what I can to sort that out. Anyway, this is quite a tragic week to come back to. I wanted to do something fun for my first video back, but I feel it far more important to talk about the appalling catastrophe that happened in Manchester on Monday night.
First at 5 today, it was a night of terror, and it becomes a day of mourning.
The people of this city are showing an amazing amount of strength and resilience. They're reaching out to help families that lost loved ones in the bombing.
Oh my God. Oh my God!
This attack stands out for its appalling, sickening cowardice.
Murdered by evil losers in life.
This has been the most horrific incident we have ever faced here in Greater Manchester.
Currie, get on this way! Come on.
A suicide bomber by the name of Salman Abedi took his own life and the lives of 22 innocents as the crowd was filing out of the Ariana Grande concert held in Manchester Arena. Although he was British-born, his family was originally from Libya. They fled their native country during Gaddafi's reign and sought refuge in the UK. From the looks of it, he had been planning this for quite some time. Some reports even estimate as much as a year, and that he'd spent time in Syria where he'd become radicalised prior to his mass murder. Prime Minister Theresa May raised the terror threat level from severe to critical, its highest possible categorisation, and had both armed police and members of the army patrolling the streets of British cities because they believed another attack attempt was imminent. This is the highest the threat level has been in 12 years, since the London bombings of 2005, which killed 56 people, including the 4 terrorists themselves. Although, still counting the perpetrators as people at this point is really pretty generous. The country has been left to grieve in a state of great sadness and great anger, because this atrocity is just one of literally hundreds that have taken place this year alone. In fact, according to the Wikipedia list of terrorist incidents in 2017, more than 600 have taken place this year, with more than 130 just in May. And whilst I won't deny that there are quite a few that were carried out by unknown assailants or lone wolves, there is one predominant recurring theme that cannot be ignored. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, the Taliban, fundamentalist, extremist Islamic terrorism. Now, many well-meaning individuals would stop me right there and tell me that these groups don't represent Islam at all. They spread false teachings. After all, Islam is peace. I would like to go into my own opinions on the religion of peace in future videos because I want this video to focus on the victims and not turn into a political soapbox. But there is one thing I would like to say. Whilst the religious side of Islam may have a place in the West, the political side is absolutely incompatible. You should always be free to worship any god that you like in peace. But if you believe in beating women, marrying children, stoning gays and rape victims, and taxing or killing non-believers and apostates, your views will never be welcome here. Linda Sarsour may have taken us all for idiots when she said that anyone who disagrees with Sharia law doesn't understand it. Or Yasmin Abdel-Magid may genuinely have thought people would swallow her claim that Sharia law is pro-woman and that Islam is the most feminist religion.
Excuse me, Islam to me is the most feminist religion.
But we know full well what kind of world those political ideas create, and we want no part of it. I worry that we refuse to fight this threat properly because we conflate the people who worship Allah on a purely religious basis with the people who want to spread the misanthropic rule of Sharia law. And while we may not want to offend the first group, we should be more than happy to offend any proponent of the second. If we want to defeat radical Islamic terrorism, we have to care more about the lives we are losing than they care about their evil political ideologies. Because the sooner we become desensitized to it, the sooner we just lie down and accept it. And to the effective fighting apathy of these atrocities, I would like to take a moment to talk about some of the victims of Monday night's massacre. Kelly Brewster had taken her young niece to see Ariana Grande. She reportedly died, shielding the little girl from flying shrapnel. Best friends Lisa Lees and Alison Howe took their teenage girls to the concert. The two daughters survived, but both mums lost their lives. Martin Hett was killed just days before leaving for a 2-month tour of the United States. He was said to be the life of the party, and his brother Dan had the solemn duty of reporting his death by saying, "They found my brother's body last night. We are heartbroken." Chloe Rutherford and Liam Currie, a young couple in their late teens, lost their lives in the explosion. The two sets of parents issued a joint statement that said, "They were beautiful inside and out, to ourselves and our families, and they were inseparable. They wanted to be together forever, and now they are." Georgina Calendar was 18 years old and studying health and social care at college. She had a dream come true when she was able to meet Ariana Grande in person and have a photo taken with her. Olivia Campbell Hardy was 15 and wanted to be a singer like Ariana. She actually has a YouTube channel that had just one video on it, her singing at a school talent show.
Oh, crazy and I'm out of my mind, 'cause all of me loves all of you. Love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections.
Supposedly she'd even auditioned for Britain's Got Talent. She was not on the initial list of the deceased, and her mother and stepdad spent 2 days furiously searching for her in local hospitals and begging people on Twitter to report any sign of her. Sadly, when all of the bodies were removed from the arena, the parents were given the awful news that hers was among them. Ellie Mcleod was 14 and had travelled all the way to Manchester from her home in the Outer Hebridean Islands in Scotland, which, if you're not from here, is a really long way. Apparently she loved music and even played the bagpipes in a pipe band. Safi Rose Roussos was just 8 years old when she was killed. The head teacher at her primary school said that Safi was simply a beautiful little girl in every aspect of the word. She was loved by everyone, and her warmth and kindness will be remembered fondly. And I'm sorry if this has been an incredibly depressing video to watch. Certainly not what I had in mind for my first video in a month. But this is an evil that cannot be ignored or downplayed. Salman Abedi's family fled to the UK as refugees of Gaddafi's regime. And despite this country giving them sanctuary and a home and food and healthcare and education and the ability to worship in peace, he apparently hated us so much that he decided to commit mass murder and took the lives of 22 people, including 7 children. And I can only hope that if Allah is there to meet him in the afterlife, that he is not the kind of God who forgives child killers.